Today's topic is wisdom of life and nature. There are three things: wisdom, life, and nature. So we shall have to define what means wisdom, what means life, and what means nature. In accordance with the Buddhist tradition, wisdom means the understanding of the reality without any distortion. What reality is to be understood. Understood means realizing it by one's own authentic mind. So that is called wisdom. But humanity has many layers of mind, knowledge, information, understanding, wisdom. Here the wisdom refers for the direct touch of mind with the reality. Knowledge includes understanding as well as acceptance without understanding. For example, many things are taught by teacher in the classroom, or you read something from the book and you just accept them without your own examination, analyzation. So that is a knowledge or accumulation of information, but that is not understanding or wisdom. The modern education system mostly depend on accumulation of knowledge without understanding. People make to accept this is not, something like that. Even the so-called scientific knowledge, there are also many things are acceptance. In the past, some famous scientist has experimented, inquired, and analyzed and find something, and his or her findings are being taught later on. So we just accept them. Any principle, scientific principle, we accept them, but we ourselves did not experiment it, and we ourselves did not realize these things happen like this. So this kind of knowledge is a knowledge of borrowed, a knowledge of acceptance, not a wisdom of knowing the reality. If you have a realization, that means wisdom, then that wisdom cannot be altered or changed through others' argument or rationalization or whatever it may be, because you have experimented, you have examined, and then you know this, so that is unshakable. There's no any other argument can alter that wisdom. Now the second thing is life. Life, generally, the word life generally refers to a duration of time. But here it does not refer to duration of time, but it is an entity which have a combination of body and mind. A body and mind come together and working with cooperatively or jointly, that is called a life. Buddhist tradition understands there are two different levels of life. The subtle level of life is a body which is curated by the karmic force of the previous life. That means it is created by a consciousness. That consciousness takes the charge of the body. So this kind of working together. For example, a human being, human life means a body which is a composite of four elements, working in the fifth element, and which is owned by a consciousness, a clarity of knowing, the consciousness, these five are put together, working harmoniously and with a balance, that is called life. And the third is the nature. Nature is referring to generally the world. Nature is referring to something originated by its own, not an artificial, but an original thing. That is called nature. That also at two different levels, nature is considered to be two different levels. That, as I mentioned before, the name of nature in Indian Sanskrit language, Bhut, and its Tibetan language, Zhuang, it is a reference to the future, to becoming, or source of future. This kind of nature has two levels. One, it's a fundamental level, and the other is at the manifested or expressed level. So these two levels, the nature is working. The fundamental nature is the four basic elements, the fire, the wind, the earth, and the water, and these four elements. And these four elements is able to exist or work in the fifth, the space or the voidness. So this five nature comes together, then it makes possible for future change. Then at a manifested level or expressed level, the mountains, the rivers, the trees, the flowers, the seas, and the sarovars, and all these not man-made, but it is coming into being and exists there by its own energy or by its own force. This is expressed nature. Basically, all the four elements are opposite to each other. The fire, if water is put on fire, the fire either extinguished or the fire will overcome the water, and the water is dried, or the wind is blowing and the earth is not shakeable by the wind, or all these are basically by its own fundamentally not very cohesive with each other. It comes together, there's some struggle, but through certain design, and it become cooperative, that makes all the beauties and all the whatever the living things are through the well-balanced cooperation and cohesiveness of the elements or the natures. Now, the life and the nature, the basic understanding of this life and nature, entire tradition, there are two different viewpoints or two different groups. The one is the believer of the Creator, the divine Creator. The other is the believer of the collective karmic force of the living beings, sentient beings. So this can be classified. One is a believer of the Creator, and the other is a no-believer of the Creator, yet these are being created by the collective karmic force of the all sentient beings. These are the two general viewpoints of the every religion or spiritual traditions. Then there are no believers of any religious tradition. They do not discuss this, how these are coming to being, what the cause of these are not much discussed. They may be understood it is all accidental. These two different traditions, believing in Creator or not believing in Creator, both of them are believe the principle of causality. No effect can come without any cause. There must be some positive, forceful cause that will only give the result. So all these happenings in this universe are due to certain cause. The cause may be ultimately put to the Creator, or the cause may be ultimately put to the actions of the living creatures. These are two different things, but this difference is also by and large language difference, and in an ultimate reality there's not much difference. Now coming back to the wisdom of life and nature, if someone have wisdom about the life, it will see all the living things are equal, secret, and to be respected and not to be destroyed. If a direct perception of life someone has, that is called wisdom about life, that wisdom will not allow anyone to disrespect any living creature or destroy any living creature, and will consider the living creature is a secret one. Similarly, someone have a wisdom of the nature, they will understand the nature is the ultimate source or power for all universe existence, and therefore they will not try to misuse or overpower the nature. They will not try to make artificial substitute to the nature. What I'm trying to say is that the nature has the potential, complete potential, to satisfy all living beings' real needs. And the living beings are user of the natural resources. So natural resources and the user of it, the living beings, has a very close relationship, cooperate with each other, and the nature will give all the needs to be fulfilled of the entire living creature on this earth. But in the present time, particularly for the last 250 or 300 years, among the living beings, particularly the human beings, have been gone through a great change. Now the human beings are no more remain as user of the natural resources. We are become the consumer. And we forgot what is our basic need. And we also go after our greed. The human greed has been exploited by the producers, and since entire humanity is become consumer, not user, then we misuse the natural resources. Thereby, the climate change, the global warming, and the environmental destruction, all these are just direct result of human greed. Gandhi have said very correctly that the Mother Earth is capable of satisfying all living beings' needs, but the whole earth cannot satisfy a single person's greed. So that is to be understood, and we have lost the balance and cooperation with the nature. That is the source of all the present problems which our humanity is facing. To conclude it, if we have a wisdom of life and nature, then there will not be a disrespect or disharmony with the living beings, with the nature, and we are able to respect each other, love each other, having a compassionate mind to each other, with other living beings as well as with the nature, then the entire universe will be a very happy one, and there will be no conflict, there's no misery. And as long as we don't have that wisdom, we understand or we misunderstood the nature can be exploited or it can be overpowered, then there will be no end of any problem. Thank you for your patience hearing.